Hello everyone. Today I am going to explain an example of encapsulation in Java using a employee salary incremented program. First understood the goal of the program. The goal is to protect the employee data like ID, name and salary and allow access through proper method. This is exactly what encapsulation means. So let's start the Eclipse ID and I will step by step explain to you how is it working. So the first line we will choose the folder in which we are going to make the class. So here in encapsulation I will create a class called name employee salary. Choose the path and choose the package. Now here we will tick mark the public static void main checkbox and it has created a class of name employee salary. First of all we will create a BLC class and BLC stands for business logic class. Here we will write the actual logic and the rules of the program, and also point to remember that a BLC class never contains a void main method like this public static void main. Here a BLC class never contains a void main method. Here only the logic and the rules of the programs are written. First of all, inside this class we declare three variables: private int id, private string salary, and private long salary, and private string name. Inside this class we declare three variables: id, name and salary. And to achieve encapsulation we mark all the variables as private, and according to their data types we have written here int, string and salary. And why we have marked all the variables private? Because in encapsulation data should not be accessed directly from outside the class. And what is the property of private? That we cannot access any members of the class from the outside until we are using methods to call those non-static fields. Here after that we have a constructor, and what is the use of this constructor? To initialize the objects when it is created. And we have created a parameterized constructor int id, string name and long salary. This parameter will be directly passed through here, this dot id, this dot name and this dot salary. What this dot salary or this dot name or this dot id will do, this will refer to the current object, and this will initialize the id, name and salary of the non-static fields, of the private non-static fields here. Then after that we have getters methods. Get id returns the employee id, and the getter method always have a return type. Please make sure that to mark this getter method according to its data type. So here we have written the id, and same goes with the name and salary. So the name of the getter method for the name should be get name, and for the salary should be get salary. return name. And again for the salary, public long get salary. And the getter methods are used to read the private data safely. I want you to remember this point, that the getter methods are used to read the private data safely. We cannot update the data using the getter method. The data is still protected and accessible. After the getter methods are completed, we have setter methods. So setter method is used to update the ID, name or salary of the employee. So for setting the name, we have used set name, and the return type of a setter method is void. Please make sure the return type of the setter method is void, because it doesn't return any value. What if I have written here string, then we have to write a return, like in the get salary method we have to write here a return. To avoid this ambiguity, we write void. And same goes with set id. Here this dot id is equals to id. So we are updating the values using the setter methods. Now comes the most important part of the program, the salary validation part. Here we will write the salary validation. In the salary method, we apply a condition where we check if the salary is less than or equal to the current salary. I also make sure that you pass the parameters inside the method. So here it will directly update the values. You can see that wherever we are writing salary or the name, the name is getting highlighted. So these are helping into easily noticing which values are where the values are flowing. Again here we are writing the simple code for check if the new salary is less than or equal to the current salary. If the condition is true, then we will print an error message saying that the incremented amount must be greater than the current salary. And then we'll stop the program execution. Here system.err.println, and we print the error message. Incremented amount must be greater than current salary. Now we will write a program to execute if this condition is true. System.exit, here 0. We'll pass 0 as a parameter to close the program.